What's a body got to do?
What?
Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of Building Curtopolis. I'm Dauntless Relic, and we today are going to finally get started on the downtown area. Today we are going to build a very unique skyscraper. The way that it's going to be shaped is it's going to have 4 squared sides, and then the front side is going to be a flat glass piece. Now it's kind of hard to picture in your mind, but just stick with me and I'll show you exactly what we're talking about. First thing we're going to do is we're going to lay down the foundation to it. We're just basically going to do these straight block edges, and we're going to build a little bit of a box right here, and then we're going to go up from there and start setting up the top. Now, the way the top's going to be laid out is it's going to have a type of stair step type of design, and it'll take us a couple of episodes to get through this, so just bear with me. And once again, as before, we're not going to be doing any of the interior on this. We're just basically going to do the outside. As we started in last episode, episode 5, I just thought as you get the hang of this build, I'm just going to tell you a little bit of a story. And on today's story, we're going to be talking about what happened when I was a kid and we were caught trespassing at my neighbor's. We lived along the river in the town I grew up in New Mexico, and we had a neighbor next door that had a lot of land. Well, he also had this really awesome boathouse that was just the right height for us to jump off of into the river. So, although we knew better, we would go over there and climb on the top of his boathouse and jump off. Well, most of the time, this happened without any reaction from the man. But on this one particular day, we all snuck over there. Me, my brother, and a couple of friends climbed the fence and ran over there and spent probably 20 minutes jumping off of his boathouse, swimming back up to the shore, and jumping off again. This went on for a while until we heard some yelling coming from the area towards the house. Now, the distance between the house and the boathouse was probably, it's hard to determine distances in the passing of time and being a small, probably 8, 9 years old. But it seemed like the distance was a good 100 yards. And I remember pretty distinctly this man coming outside and yelling at us to get off his property. And we all started reacting and slowly getting down until we heard a gunshot. And lo and behold, this man was firing a weapon at us. Now, whether or not he was firing it at us or in the air, again, the perception of what truly happened as a kid, changes, but I do remember there being some kind of gunfire, and it created havoc, and everybody started jumping off of the back of the boathouse and running towards the fence where we climbed over. Well, when it came my turn to jump off the back of the house, of the boathouse, now it was probably 3 or 4 feet off of the ground where the roof line sat up off the ground, and most of the kids had no problem. But as it became my turn, I took a jump and lost my balance, and in order to catch myself, I put my hands down. And when I did, my left hand found a jagged stick sticking up from the ground, which penetrated all the way through my hand and came out the other side. Well, as you can imagine, this horrified me and my older brother probably more than the pain and how terrible it looked was what our parents were going to do to the two of us for this entire situation. The parents had been warned about us being over there and had told us on several occasions that we needed to not be on that man's property. But, kids will be kids, and I guess the whole idea of not supposed to be there, us not supposing to be there, probably made it that much more fun for us. So anyway, we get back to the part where I've now landed on the ground, put my hand down to catch myself, and this stick is now through the palm of my hand right in the center and came out the back of my hand. And so we, now keep in mind, this man is still advancing on us at the boathouse. So we're trying to exit the area as quickly as possible. And so we get across the fence. We lived in an apartment complex that sat directly next door to this man's property. And so when we got to the part where we had to confront the mom, my older brother had to explain to my mom why it was that he let his younger brother get injured to such magnitude. Now, it was not uncommon for us to come home, one of us bleeding at any given day, because we were kind of rough and tumble kids. And as a matter of fact, in one instance, we were throwing rocks, which is a great American pastime for little boys. But we were throwing rocks at the river in the same apartment complex. And I was standing below my older brother. This is a totally different situation, but I was standing below him, and he decided that he felt he was much stronger than he actually was. So he picked up a big chunk of concrete and proceeded to throw it into the river over my head. Well, luck and gravity had the best of us, and that chunk of concrete ended up smacking me dead in the back of the head. So again, this was just another situation where we come running up and one of us is bleeding from somewhere. And so, once again, Mom had to pile us into the old Ford LTD and drive us to the emergency room to have this stick removed and me get some stitches and some shots and just all this lovely stuff. This was just another case of kids being kids, and I learned at that age, probably the most valuable thing I took away from this was that when there's a no trespassing sign on someone's property, they're usually pretty serious about you staying off their land, kid or no kid. So, you can say what you will about the man taking some shots at some kids, but again, my perception at that age, I probably got a little bit skewed in the seriousness of his reaction, but my recollection of the stick sticking through my hand and the situation that transpired after that is 100% accurate. So anyway, that will conclude the story for this episode. And if you've been following along with the build, as you can see, we've done a stair-stepping pattern here on, what you need to do is you do the two corners that you want facing, you want your glass to face. Now they're both going to come off of this. I say two corners. It'll be two corners at the top. You're going to start it off of the same corner on the bottom. So as you can see, you go up, and it's like you do a stack of five times, then four times, then three times, two times, and then until you get to the top one, and then you're going to go back down to the corner and do the same thing coming off the other edge of the same corner and go up. You can just watch the video to see exactly what I mean by that, but it'll make sense to you once you see what's going on. So that's going to conclude the little bit of a tutorial and the story for episode 6. Guys, I really appreciate you joining me on this adventure as we build Curtopolis, and we're really going to make an epic city here. Again, as I've told you on every other occasion, please leave comments and let me know what you think, or let me know what kind of buildings that you'd like to see happen here, any improvements, things you feel I'm doing wrong or I could do better. I do plan on, in episode 10, is I'm going to take you on a tour of the original Curtopolis. This is actually known in my save location as New Curtopolis. And the original one is where I was learning a lot of stuff. Now, there's many things in that I really like, and there's many things in that I'm not crazy about. But I learned a lot while I was doing it, and that inspired me to go back and start a whole new city and just try to do it over again the way that I want it done. So thanks a lot for joining me. Please like this video, subscribe, comment, and please invite your friends to check it out. Things will get better as we progress, and I really would love to have you guys along with me all the way to the end. I'm going to have some secrets. I'm going to work some games out into this. We're just going to have a lot of fun at the end of this. I want to do a bunch of redstone work, and I'd like to build a factory in this thing where it actually operates. So that's just some ideas I have. Again, like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you on the next episode. Thanks a lot, guys.